Imagine for a moment the most powerful force in the world, something so pure, so unshakable, that it has the ability to change lives, heal wounds, and unite people from every corner of the earth. It isn't money, fame, or power. It is the greatest love story ever told, a love that knows no bounds, a love that transcends the superficial and touches the core of humanity. It is a love that demands nothing yet gives everything. This is the story of sacrifice, of a love so deep, so radical that it calls us to look beyond ourselves and see the world through a different lens. The love that Jesus demonstrated is a profound example of what it means to live a life of purpose. When we understand love not as a feeling, but as a commitment, something far greater than our personal desires or temporary needs, we unlock the key to living a life full of meaning and connection. At the heart of this love is one simple truth. The love you give is the love that shapes your world. Think about that. The love you pour out into the lives of others, the time you spend, the kindness you extend, the care you give creates a ripple effect that reaches beyond what you can see. It's not always visible in the moment, but in time, it transforms the way people see themselves, the way they see the world, and ultimately how they see you. We live in a world where many are driven by personal ambition, seeking success for its own sake. But what if success was not measured by what we accumulate or the accolades we receive, but by the lives we touch through our love and service? What if the greatest purpose in life was simply to serve and love those around us in ways both big and small? The beauty of this love is that it is freely given. You don't have to earn it, and you don't have to prove yourself worthy. It's not about the best performance or the biggest sacrifice. It's about being willing to give your all without expecting anything in return. It's about choosing to love others no matter the cost. And through that love, we are transformed. We find purpose not just in what we achieve, but in who we become. This is where true leadership begins. When we lead with love, when we lead with a heart full of service, we inspire others not through words alone, but through actions that speak to the very essence of what it means to be human. Leadership isn't about position, it's about influence. And love is the most powerful form of influence there is. It compels others to rise to their best selves, to act with kindness, to forgive, to encourage, and to walk alongside each other toward a common goal. In this greatest love story, there's no room for selfishness. There's no space for division or bitterness. What exists is a deep, unbreakable connection that binds humanity together, no matter where we come from, no matter what we believe. Love has the power to unite, to heal, to restore. It's not just a feeling, it's a force that transforms the world one life at a time. The greatest love story ever told wasn't written in a book. It wasn't confined to a moment in time, and it wasn't limited by circumstance. It is the love that gives, the love that sacrifices, the love that calls us to something greater than ourselves. It is the love that invites us to rise above our fears, doubts, and insecurities, and to become something better for ourselves, for others, and for the world. So ask yourself, what kind of love are you living? Are you living a love that's conditional and limited? Or are you choosing to embrace the greatest love story ever told, a love that is boundless, selfless, and transformative? True love, especially the kind that is unconditional, is one of the most powerful forces we can experience as human beings. It goes beyond the surface of relationships and reaches deep into the very core of our existence. Often in the rush of daily life, we forget that the love we give to others doesn't always have to come with conditions. It doesn't need to be based on merit, reciprocity, or expectations. Unconditional love is the kind of love that isn't contingent on how someone behaves or what they can offer in return. It is love that simply exists because of who we are, and it holds the power to change lives, not just the lives of those who receive it, but also our own. The concept of unconditional love is difficult for many to fully grasp, especially in a world that often teaches us to measure the worth of others based on what they bring to the table. We live in a society that values achievements, success, and status, and we're often taught to love and value others based on their contributions or abilities. However, unconditional love invites us into a completely different reality, one where love is freely given regardless of any external factors. It is the love that sees past flaws, mistakes, and imperfections, recognizing the inherent worth of every individual, no matter what they've done or how they may have fallen short. When we embrace this kind of love, we create space for real connection and healing. We stop keeping score of who did what for whom, and instead focus on the power of giving without expecting anything in return. This doesn't mean we're naive or blind to the realities of the world around us. It means we understand that love is a force that is far more powerful than any transaction-based interaction. Love has the ability to transcend hurt, misunderstandings, and disappointment. And when we give love without strings attached, we open the door to true vulnerability, not only in our relationships with others, but also within ourselves. Unconditional love is also not something that simply exists in theory. It's something that is demonstrated through action. It requires sacrifice. It calls us to go beyond our comfort zones, to serve, to forgive, and to be patient when it is hardest to do so. It's easy to love someone when things are going well, but it's much more challenging when we face difficulty or conflict. Yet it's in these moments when unconditional love is needed the most. It's in these moments that we have the opportunity to demonstrate the depth of our commitment to others through our willingness to stand by them, even when the circumstances aren't ideal. For example, in any meaningful relationship, whether between partners, friends, or family, there are moments when conflicts arise and misunderstandings occur. It's in these moments that love is put to the test. If we are only willing to love when everything is perfect, then we are missing the real power of love. True love reveals itself in the willingness to work through those moments of tension, to give space for growth, and to continue to choose each other even when it's hard. This is where the power of unconditional love lies. It doesn't look for perfection, it looks for connection. Unconditional love also requires a level of trust. It invites us to trust in the goodness of others, even when things don't make sense or when we don't see immediate results. Love is patient and kind, as the famous passage from Corinthians reminds us. It doesn't demand or insist on its own way. Instead, it offers grace and mercy. In a world where instant gratification is often valued, love teaches us to wait, to endure, and to trust in the process of growth and healing. It encourages us to love beyond the immediate disappointments, to look past the temporary setbacks, and to see the bigger picture of what our relationships can become over time. But unconditional love isn't just a passive state, it also compels us to act. It drives us to become better versions of ourselves, not because we want to gain something, but because we recognize that love is a call to live up to our highest potential. When we love unconditionally, we step into a space where we are more attuned to the needs of others, more compassionate in our actions, and more willing to forgive. This love doesn't just transform the person receiving it, it transforms the one giving it as well. Moreover, unconditional love extends beyond the individual level. It has the potential to change entire communities, cultures, and even the world. Imagine if we all chose to love others without conditions, without judgment, without trying to change them to fit our expectations. What if, instead of trying to change the world around us, we focused on how we could better love and serve the people in it? When we start showing love without expecting anything in return, it creates an atmosphere of trust and openness, which has the power to dissolve division and foster unity. In the end, unconditional love is the force that binds us together as humans. It is the foundation of every meaningful connection we form, and it's the force that can heal broken relationships and restore peace. Love is the answer to the wounds we carry, the hurts we endure, and the struggles we face. It is the one thing that has the power to transform us individually and collectively into the best versions of ourselves. And when we embrace this kind of love, we open ourselves to a life of purpose, growth, and infinite possibilities. True love is not a transaction. It is an ongoing commitment to give without expecting, to forgive without resentment, and to serve without seeking personal gain. This kind of love challenges us to be better, to do better, and to become better, not just for ourselves, but for the world. It is without a doubt the greatest gift we can give, and the greatest gift we can receive. Love is the driving force that gives life meaning and purpose. Without it, life can feel empty, hollow, and directionless. The concept of love as the ultimate motivator in our lives is profound because it moves us beyond mere survival and into the realm of fulfillment and connection. When we understand love as the fundamental reason for our actions, it reshapes the way we view our responsibilities, relationships, and even our challenges. Love is not simply an emotion, but a force that compels us to take action, to pursue goals that are bigger than ourselves, and to live in alignment with our highest values. It fuels our decisions, strengthens our resolve, and guides our behavior, creating a ripple effect that extends to every person we encounter. At the core of the human experience is the desire to be seen, heard, and loved. This deep-seated need for connection is what drives us to seek relationships, to bond with others, and to care for those around us. But this desire goes beyond just personal satisfaction. It is essential for our growth and evolution. When we love, we are not just enriching the lives of others, we are also transforming ourselves. Love allows us to break free from the limitations of our own ego, to move beyond self-interest, and to reach out with an open heart. It is what propels us to pursue greatness, not for personal gain, but for the collective good. When love is our driving force, we make decisions based on a sense of shared humanity, recognizing that we are all interconnected. True love is not just about emotional attachment, it is about purpose. When we love with a sense of purpose, we are motivated by something greater than ourselves. This love inspires us to be better, to do better, and to continuously seek ways to contribute meaningfully to the world. Love gives us the strength to face obstacles and persevere through challenges, knowing that we are working towards something much bigger than our own momentary discomfort. It calls us to act with integrity, to show up for others, and to be present in the most meaningful ways possible. It pushes us to lead by example, to show kindness, and to extend a hand when others are in need. When love is our driving force, we approach life with a sense of responsibility and commitment, understanding that the impact of our actions can ripple through time and space, touching the lives of many. When we embrace love as the driving force behind our actions, we unlock a deeper sense of fulfillment. No longer are we simply living for ourselves or seeking validation from external sources. Instead, we find joy and purpose in the act of giving, of serving others, and of working toward goals that promote the well-being of others. It's through love that we find true meaning, because it allows us to transcend the ego and embrace something much bigger. We no longer see challenges as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and transformation. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone, pushing us toward becoming the person we are meant to be. Someone who is driven by love, guided by compassion, and motivated by a desire to make a difference. In a world where it is easy to become distracted by personal ambitions, material success, or fleeting pleasures, love reminds us of what truly matters. It cuts through the noise and brings us back to the fundamental truth that our purpose is not to accumulate wealth or power, but to love and serve others. When we adopt this mindset, everything shifts. We begin to see life through a new lens, one that prioritizes connection, kindness, and empathy over competition and self-centered pursuits. Love helps us recognize the beauty in each person we encounter, and it compels us to treat them with dignity and respect. It teaches us that we are all worthy of love, no matter where we come from or what we have done. This sense of unity and compassion becomes the foundation for a better world, where love is the guiding principle that drives our actions and shapes our future. When love becomes the central force in our lives, we stop viewing the world as something to be conquered or controlled. Instead, we see it as a community to be nurtured, a collective to be supported. This shift in perspective opens us up to new possibilities, new ways of thinking, and new approaches to problem solving. We begin to prioritize long-term solutions over short-term gains, knowing that true success is measured not by what we accumulate, but by the positive impact we leave behind. Our actions are no longer motivated by fear or insecurity, but by a deep sense of purpose and love for the world around us. And as we work toward these greater goals, we find that we are not only shaping the future, but also shaping ourselves, becoming the kind of people we were always meant to be. In the end, love is the most powerful motivator we have. It drives us to be our best selves, to contribute to the greater good, and to lead lives of meaning and purpose. When we allow love to guide us, we unlock the potential to create lasting change in the world, and in doing so, we find the fulfillment that comes from living a life dedicated to something greater than ourselves. The greatest acts of kindness, the most inspiring moments of leadership, and the most profound successes in life are all born from love. It is through love that we connect with others, find our true purpose, and create a legacy that will endure for generations to come. The greatest acts of love often come through sacrifice. In a world where self-interest and individual success are often at the forefront, true love often requires us to put aside our personal desires and priorities in favor of something much larger. Sacrifice is not a concept that is widely embraced in today's fast-paced, results-driven culture. We are encouraged to focus on what we can gain, what we can accumulate, and what we can achieve for ourselves. However, true love calls for something different. It calls for a willingness to give up what is comfortable, to step outside of our own needs, and to serve others in meaningful ways. It is through this selflessness that we find the greatest rewards, not in material wealth, but in the profound satisfaction that comes from knowing we've made a difference in someone else's life. Sacrifice in the context of love is not about martyrdom or losing oneself. It's about making choices that prioritize the well-being of others, knowing that in doing so, we contribute to the greater good. When we sacrifice for others, whether it's giving up time, resources, or personal comfort, we are demonstrating a commitment to the values we hold dear. Values like compassion, kindness, and empathy. It's easy to love when everything is easy, but it's in the moments of difficulty, when we are called to make sacrifices, that love truly shines. These sacrifices may not always be grand gestures or public acts. They can be small, everyday choices that add up over time. Helping a neighbor in need, offering a listening ear to a friend, or putting someone else's needs before your own. These moments, though often unnoticed by the world, are where the true power of love lies. Sacrifice through love is also a transformative experience. It changes us, deepens our character, and shifts our perspective on life. When we choose to love through sacrifice, we realize that the things we often think we need, whether it's recognition, power, or material wealth, are not the things that ultimately fulfill us. What truly fulfills us is the knowledge that we have given of ourselves for the betterment of others. Through sacrifice, we find purpose, meaning, and a deeper connection to those around us. It's through sacrifice that we understand the true depth of love, that it isn't just about what we receive, but about what we're willing to give. The greatest love stories often revolve around sacrifice and selflessness. These two qualities are central to understanding what true love is and how it manifests in our lives. In a world that often places individual gain above all else, we tend to forget that the most profound acts of love come when we step aside from our own needs, desires, and comforts to serve others. Sacrifice is not simply about giving up material things or making grand gestures. It's about offering up our time, energy, and attention, often without any expectation of reward. It is this selflessness that builds the most meaningful relationships, the ones that last beyond superficial attraction and continue to grow even through hardships. When we speak of sacrifice in the context of love, it's important to understand that true sacrifice is not forced, nor is it done out of obligation. Instead, it comes from a place of genuine care and concern for the well-being of others. It's about choosing the happiness and growth of someone else over our own temporary comfort. This kind of sacrifice is deeply personal. It is not something that can be measured or quantified. It's not about keeping score or expecting something in return, but instead about giving without strings attached. In loving someone unconditionally, we often have to make choices that challenge our self-interest. For example, we might give up time for ourselves to support a loved one through a difficult moment, or we may choose to forego our own goals temporarily to help someone else achieve theirs. These moments of self-sacrifice strengthen relationships because they demonstrate our commitment to one another in ways that words alone cannot. Sacrifice in love is often intertwined with the concept of vulnerability. To give freely without expecting anything in return requires us to open ourselves up in ways that can be uncomfortable or even scary. We make ourselves vulnerable not only by offering our time and resources, but by opening our hearts. It's through these acts of selflessness and vulnerability that love flourishes and grows. By stepping outside of our own needs and allowing ourselves to care deeply for others, we give space for those around us to do the same. This creates a cycle of giving that strengthens relationships, enriches lives, and fosters a deeper sense of connection. The beauty of sacrifice is that it transforms us as much as it transforms the people we love. When we choose to love selflessly, we learn to put the needs of others before our own, and in doing so, we become more compassionate, more patient, and more understanding. These qualities not only improve our relationships, but also elevate our own sense of purpose. In a world where self-interest often takes precedence, love that is founded on selflessness stands as a powerful example of what it means to truly care. It's easy to love when things are easy, when everything is aligned with our desires and comforts. But the true test of love comes in the moments of difficulty, when we are called to sacrifice in ways that challenge us. It is in these moments that we truly discover what love is. It's not about waiting for the right moment to act. It's about showing up for others, especially when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or costly. This is where love truly transcends what we often understand it to be. Love, in its purest form, asks us to go beyond the limits of our own selfishness and to give freely, even when there is no immediate benefit to ourselves. When we understand that the greatest acts of love come through sacrifice, we begin to see life differently. We realize that true love is not measured by what we receive, but by what we give. In fact, many of the most beautiful moments in life come not from what we accumulate or achieve, but from the times we sacrifice our own needs for the sake of others. These moments, though often small and seemingly insignificant, have the power to transform relationships and the world around us. Sacrifice is what turns a simple act into a profound gesture, what turns a fleeting moment into a lasting memory. It is through sacrifice that we learn what it means to love without limits, and in doing so, we are not only enriching the lives of those around us, but also elevating our own. When we begin to act out of selflessness, the impact extends far beyond ourselves. It creates a ripple effect that touches the lives of those around us, inspiring them to give in the same way. True love doesn't seek personal gain. It seeks to make others better, to bring light into the lives of those who need it the most. Sacrifice becomes not just a personal choice, but a shared experience, one that strengthens the bonds between individuals and fosters a sense of community and connection that transcends all differences. When love is built on selflessness, it becomes a powerful tool for healing, unity, and growth. A love that demands nothing in return is a love that has the power to change lives. It reminds us that we are not here simply to pursue our own desires, but to serve others, to uplift them, and to make the world a better place for everyone. True love transcends selfishness and moves toward a higher purpose, a purpose that seeks to create something greater than ourselves. The greatest acts of love are those that are freely given, without expectation or condition. And it is through these acts that we truly experience the power of love in its most transformative form. The greatest love stories are often built on the foundation of a purpose larger than the individuals involved. Love, in its purest form, is not just about two people coming together to share affection or companionship. It's about creating something that serves a greater good. This larger purpose is what elevates love beyond mere emotion and turns it into an inspiring force for change. It's when two people, or even a community of people, unite with a shared vision or mission that love becomes a powerful tool for transformation. A purpose larger than oneself gives direction to love, helping to guide actions and decisions, and shaping how people interact with each other and the world around them. Love that is driven by a purpose larger than ourselves is transformative because it shifts the focus from individual desires to collective well-being. This kind of love doesn't just seek to satisfy personal needs, it is concerned with the bigger picture, whether that's improving the lives of others, contributing to a cause, or making a positive impact in the world. A shared purpose creates a sense of unity and belonging, one that binds individuals together in ways that go beyond superficial connections. It fosters a sense of commonality, where the goals and aspirations of each person are aligned with the greater good. This is why many of the most powerful movements in history have been fueled by love and a shared vision. People who come together for a common purpose can accomplish far more than those who act in isolation, because their love is bound by a mutual commitment to something that transcends individual ambition. When we approach love with a larger purpose in mind, we see the world differently. We no longer view challenges as obstacles to our personal happiness, but as opportunities to serve that higher cause. This shift in perspective helps us navigate the ups and downs of life with a sense of resilience and perseverance. Love, when driven by a purpose larger than ourselves, becomes a source of strength, guiding us through difficult times and encouraging us to keep going, even when the path seems unclear. It provides us with a deeper sense of meaning, helping us understand that every action we take, no matter how small, contributes to something greater than ourselves. This kind of love doesn't just enrich the lives of those involved, it leaves a lasting impact on the world. When we love with a larger purpose, we help create a legacy of kindness, generosity, and service that can inspire future generations. the ripple effect of this love reaches far beyond what we can imagine, creating a network of positive change that continues to grow over time. The love that is driven by a higher purpose has the power to transform not only the individuals who experience it, but also the communities and societies they belong to. In the end, love that is driven by a larger purpose is the most powerful kind of love. It transcends the limitations of personal desires and becomes a force for good, one that brings people together, drives positive change, and creates a better world for everyone. It is the love that unites us in our shared humanity and compels us to act in service to others for the greater good. This is the love that changes the world, and it starts with each of us choosing to love with purpose.